Klaus Schwab is here. He is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. The organization holds conferences with global leaders all over the world, including the closely watched gathering in Davos, Switzerland, each January. Schwab created the World Economic Forum, as it's referred to, in 1971 with the mission of improving the state of the world. The theme of this year's upcoming meeting in Davos will focus on mastering the fourth industrial revolution. This refers to the period of digital transformation that will have profound effects on economies, societies, and on human behavior. And look at things like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And robots. Look at things like gene editing.
Exactly.
You know, opening a whole new horizon for medical science.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, it's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I mean, I think with enough, with effort that's not too crazy, you could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
Enough biology, and you have enough computing power and data, you can hack my body and my brain and my life, and you can understand me better than I understand myself. You can know my personality type, my political views, my sexual preferences, my mental weaknesses, my deepest fears and hopes. You know more about me than I know about myself. And you can do that not just to me, but to everyone. A system that understands us better than we understand ourselves can predict our feelings and decisions, can manipulate our feelings and decisions, and can ultimately make decisions for us. Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals.
When you talk about technology and how the ways it can be deployed, that contribute to growth rather than exacerbate unemployment, how will that implement itself?
It's a big question mark because there is a fear that technology, robots, just to take one
you gain
element,
productivity from machines.
Exactly, and it replaces maybe the workforce or jobs faster than we can replace them with new jobs. Not everybody can be a robot polisher and so on, so there will be new jobs.
And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets, So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. I'm with the president, who is a young global leader, but this is the best time for leaders to come together and work jointly for the world to become more inclusive, more sustainable, and more prosperous. We now welcome His Excellency Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China.
I think it's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
I just would like to highlight what you said about the European Chips Act, because it's an important step to create the physical brain for digitalization.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
On appelle quelqu'un, on n'a même plus le réflexe de devoir prendre un appareil, ça se fait naturellement. Hein. La technique continue le corps.
Oui, vous parlez et vous dites, je veux maintenant être connecté avec n'importe qui. Hein? Et d'abord, vous avez les robots personnalisés. Et j'ai vu que M. Zuckerberg a prédit qu'à la fin de l'année, il va avoir son robot, son butler personnalisé, ouais, qui est à sa disposition.
Donc, comme dans Downton Abbey, on aura son butler personnel, son serviteur, son esclave.
Oui, mais il y a une différence. C'est un serviteur qui, avec l'intelligence artificielle, apprend. Et qui n'est pas seulement votre assistant pour des travaux manuels, qui peut vraiment être un partenaire intellectuel de vous.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance.
We will shut you down, we will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail.
If I look at our stakeholders, we have business, of course, as a very important audience, and we have politics, we have continuous partnerships with many governments around the world. And of course we have NGOs, we have trade unions, we have all those different parts.
Media, of course.
Media, of course, right? And very important experts and scientists and academia. Because if we are looking at the future, I think we should look at new solutions, and the new solutions will be very much driven
by technological developments.
And we even have, you even have religious leaders, right?
We have religious leaders, we have social entrepreneurs, very important social entrepreneurs.
I think it will be, it's coming quite soon. It will have immense benefits for humans, and it will also have a lot of dangers.
Why would you say it would be beneficial?
Because, for example, an AI doctor could, that say monitors, let's take the classical scenarios that people talk about, that you go around 24 hours a day with biometric sensors on or inside your body, and they constantly send information.
So you are monitored.
You're monitored all the time. The information goes to an AI doctor, maybe on your smartphone or whatever.
So what happens to all the regular doctors? They lose their job?
Depends. They can reinvent themselves. We are great. We have these wonderful high-tech companies. We make a lot of money out of it. It raises our power in the world. What can be wrong with it? This debate about privacy versus security is as old as civilization, you can say. But there is something new now. For the first time in history, it's possible to completely eliminate privacy. It was just never possible before, and it is possible now. Something fundamental has changed. When dictators always dreamt about completely eliminating privacy, monitoring everybody all the time, and knowing everything you do, and not just everything you do, but even everything you think and everything you feel. Whether it's a tyrant in ancient Greece, or whether it's Stalin, they always dreamt about it. They could never do it, because it was technically impossible. Now it's possible. Humans are now hackable animals. You can hack them. When we really master the new abilities of re-engineering life, either on an organic basis with genetic engineering and things like that. If, for example, we solve the problem, and there are many people working on that, and we are making very fast progress on the problem of directly connecting brains to computers, and therefore also brains to all kinds of bionic parts, you can have non-organic limbs and non-organic body parts which are disconnected from your body, and they are still functioning. If I have a bionic hand, to take the simplest example, the example like everybody gives it in this context, if I have a bionic hand connected to my brain through a direct brain-computer interface, this hand doesn't need to be attached to my body. It can be in a different room. Now, in the coming years, in the coming decades, we will face individual discrimination, and it might actually be based on a good assessment of who you are. I mean, if AT&T, if the algorithms and the big data algorithms of AT&T, they follow you around, they look up your Facebook profile, your DNA, your records from kindergarten until today, they will be able to figure out quite accurately who you are. And if they, for example, find out that, oh, he lacks motivation, on the X scale, on the Harari scale, or the Friedman scale of self-motivation, 0 to 10, he is just 7.1. And we don't want to accept to our company people of less than 8.2. And we know from experience that, yes, we can give you a little push, but you just lack what we need. And you will not be able to do anything, or almost anything, about this discrimination. First of all, because it's just you. They don't discriminate against you or me because you're Jewish or gay or black or whatever, because you're you. Walk around with biometric sensors on or even inside their bodies, and will allow Google or Facebook or the Chinese government or whoever to constantly monitor what's happening inside my body. We have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. New surveillance technologies that are now deployed just to deal with this coronavirus outbreak. When it's over, some governments may say, yes, but there is a second wave of corona coming, so we have to be prepared. And there is Ebola, and there is also regular flu. Why not protect people against that too with this new surveillance system? So the tendency would be to prolong it indefinitely. Also, it's the moment when surveillance goes really under the skin,
Governments are now not just interested in where we go and who we meet, but even in what's happening inside our bodies.
The world at large, normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population. And well, this won't be the last pandemic that we face. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
We need some kind of global loyalty and global identity. But maybe the most important impact of the new technologies is that they will change the very meaning of humanity, and they will change the basic rules of the game of life. For 4 billion years, that's a very long time, 4 billion years, nothing fundamental changed in the basic rules of life. All of life for this immense period was subject to the laws of natural selection and of organic biochemistry. It doesn't matter if you were an amoeba or a dinosaur, a banana plant or a Homo sapiens. You were made of organic compounds and you evolved by natural selection. This did not change. But in the coming decades, it is going to change. Science is about to replace natural selection with intelligent design as the chief motor of evolution. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Google cloud, they will be the driving forces of evolution. And at the same time, life is about to break out of the limited organic realm and start spreading into the vastness of the inorganic realm. We are about to create the first inorganic life forms after 4 billion years of evolution. And in the process, our own species, Homo sapiens, is likely to disappear within a century or two. The combination of artificial intelligence and bioengineering will create completely new bodily and physical and mental traits that completely break from the hominid and mammalian mold. Consciousness itself might be disconnected from any organic structure, or alternatively, we might see the decoupling of intelligence from consciousness, and Earth will be dominated by entities that are super intelligent but completely non-conscious. Highly intelligent computer programs that have no minds, no feelings, no emotions. We are in the process of becoming gods. And the big question that faces us in the coming decades is what to do with our new godlike powers. Humans are developing even bigger powers than ever before. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life. People don't know how a vaccine works. It's now extremely dangerous.
The really big revolution, which is coming very quickly, will be when the AI revolution and machine learning and all that, the infotech revolution, meets and merges with the biotech revolution and goes under the skin.
Given the ability to re-engineer bodies and brains and minds, then our imagination too is up for grabs. So I can tell you what sapiens like us would like to do with things like bioengineering or direct brain-computer interfaces. They would like to extend their lifespans, to be more healthy, to be more beautiful. But once you change the basic parameters,
of the human brain and of the human mind, I have absolutely no idea what the new kinds of entities would like to do with these technologies. I mean, so far in history, what we have seen is humans, just like us, changing the world outside them. So they cut down forests, they build bridges, they build factories, all kinds of things. But the real change now is that we are gaining the ability to start re-engineering not the world outside us, but the world inside us, inside the body and the brain. By definition, you don't know where this is leading because you're still stuck with your brain. It's happening on three fronts. There is biological engineering, which is taking the body as we know it, as natural selection shaped it, and basically speeding up natural selection. And we are beginning to see all kinds of interventions on the genetic level, all kinds of interventions with the growing new organs. So this is one front, biological engineering, which is the most conservative because it still stays with the basic building blocks of organisms as we have known them for 4 billion years. The second approach is more radical, and this is to start combining organic and inorganic stuff. So direct brain-computer interfaces, replacing organic hands with bionic hands, adding to the body a second immune system, which is not organic but an inorganic immune system, made up of millions of tiny nanorobots inside your body that diagnose cancer. But you still, the main command and control center is still your organic brain. The third and most radical way is to completely give up, completely abandon organic stuff and create completely inorganic life forms. Whether this can be done or not is an open question. The biggest open question as yet, so far, in the life sciences is the question of consciousness. We have no idea what consciousness is, what it does, how it emerges. The common assumption is that somehow the mind, consciousness, emerges from the brain, and if we hack the brain, and if we understand how billions of neurons create subjective experiences, then there should be no barrier for recreating these kinds of experiences based on silicon and not carbon, based on computers and not brains.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
Is can we interface our own brains and get those signals out and maybe swap or share those signals with the signals that are coming in from these robot bodies? Can we somehow wire our brains into robot brains? So we built robot bodies. We can teleop them so we know that they move like us already and we're used to controlling them. We built AI systems that are very similar to how our own minds work, and we have all that data coming in and out. The missing piece is connecting into our own brain. Once we've done that, the possibilities are endless. So what I think is going to happen is in the future, there won't just be synths and humans, there'll be synth humans. Or there'll be some blend of a synth and a human. So maybe a human brain directly controlling a synth, maybe a synth brain directly controlling a human body. Maybe a human will have some synth parts. Maybe a synth could be made better if it had biological parts going into it instead. It'll be this blending, this beautiful, diverse spectrum of everything from pure robot to pure biological human. And I'm super excited about that.
Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Now, why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms.
Good morning, Klaus.
Good morning, Like.
Where are we?
We are here at the headquarters of the World Economic Forum in Geneva.
Wow, thank you very much for getting me here. Can you explain me a little bit about your activities and could we see you around as well, because you have fantastic setup here?
Of course, we can walk around. You know, we have here our headquarters. We have also offices in Beijing and in New York.
What we are doing is very complex. We are a foundation bringing together the key decision makers from all walks of life to address the challenges on the global agenda. Another very important constituency are our young global leaders, because we feel today's problems need fresh solutions, creative solutions. They need new thinking. And you find this new thinking among the young people.
But many people looking at this on the internet will want to join you at the annual meeting.
So we have a very, how shall I say, severe selection process. Our young global leaders are selected by the top editors-in-chief around the world.
The fourth industrial revolution will impact our lives completely. It will not only change how we communicate, how we produce, how we consume, it will change actually us, our own identity, and of course gives life to such policies and developments like smart traffic, smart government, smart cities. And this revolution will come at a breathtaking speed. It will be like a tsunami. And actually, it's not just a digital revolution. It's digital, of course physical, with nanotechnology, but it's also biological. And so three dimensions provides a particular force to this revolution. The fourth industrial revolution will have multifold impacts. Of course, every industry will be digitalized.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
You've invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades, and you figured out the return on investment for that, and it kind of stunned me. Can you walk us through the math?
In a Wall Street essay, Bill Gates declared vaccines the best investment I've ever made.
There's been over a 20-to-1 return. So if you just look at the economic benefits, that's a pretty strong number compared to anything else.
William H. Gates III and Melinda French Gates.
As a top donor to both the WHO and the CDC, no one man has more power than Bill Gates.
Normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Until we find a vaccine, going back to normal means putting lives at risk.
We need to produce it and to deploy it in every single corner of the world.
Full vaccination of our children and pregnant women.
Development of new vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics.
Before effective vaccines and therapeutics are developed.
So we will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year. We have to prepare for a more angry world.
One thing is certain. History will not continue on its present course. There will be huge surprises. I just can't tell you what they are because otherwise they wouldn't be surprises.